or she could send you a little message, a little text. Hey, babe, did you get the mail? Just like little, and you know, it become you appreciate her for reminding you, and thank her for looking out for your forgetfulness. It becomes a positive reinforcement type thing.
Yeah.
Instead of like one of those negative things. And that's kind of what happened in my parental conflict thing at work. It was I'm someone like her. And she's like that too. Like we'll do 50, 100 things at once. And see, we're the type of people that remember everything. Every conversation, every patient, every question, all that. And so whenever something has been neglected, for lack of a better term, it's never because I forgot. It's always because something else came up and it kind of got pushed to the back.
You got a lot of shit going on.
Bruh, we're popping at that little clinic every day.
Right.
Every day, all day, between the phones and I tell you what, our patients are spoiled, man. You know, I tell you, she's like a mama to all of them, even the 70, 80, 90-year-olds. It's like we kind of have to do everything. But I mean, it's kind of what it is. And I swore to myself that I wouldn't allow the load of it all this second time around working there to burn her out.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it was a little small thing, and it was did you forget to do this again? And I blew up. I lost it. Like I had to leave. I had to walk out and leave. I don't think I was going to really quit, but I kind of was like, you know what? If it's gonna be all of this again, if it's gonna be like this, I'm not gonna do it, and I don't care how bad I need it. Cause I was like, man, no, it's not gonna be like this. I'm 32 now. You know, you have one daughter that has a New York City job. You have your baby who shares your birthday, who just got a job in Jersey. So it's just gonna be you and me again. So we gotta work this thing out, sweetheart. You really do. And so, sometimes I wonder, you know, because, you know, my mom and I was the only for almost 7 years. I was her college child, her undergrad child. And then uh, first sister, my first sister came after she graduated med school, like right after. And then the other one came during her residency. And so I've kind of been through more with her than they have. And so, and because of their personalities, I just kind of, I have her back on different things than they do. And I'm sure that they comfort her in a way that I can't, because, you know, they're girls. So, you know, they kind of have a different, like, bosom type of relationship. But I'm a backbone. And I don't say that to minimize their roles in her life, but, you know, I'm the one, you know, if she needs me to, like, if she needs to vent or like pray or something's going on, she can come to TJ. And, you know, as I've gotten older and she's always been single, I've just always wondered, I think there's been a little bit of pressure on me, and this also causes some conflict. You know, it's like, well, you know, I'm your son. You know, I don't want our codependency to become spousal in a sense as a child. And sometimes it's the boundaries, and, you know, I'm not one. I'm not good with those. I'm not, because, you know, I think I've had an understanding of a loving relationship as being semi-invasive. I don't need to know all your biz, but because I love you, I'm gonna be in it. So, I was glad that we were able to work through that.
Man,
You know, and see, for me, like, I'm not one to blow up over stuff. So for me to react the way that I did, I think once it blew over, she understood my concerns. And
also keep in mind, I'm sorry to cut you off, but keep in mind,
yeah,
man,
go ahead.
some of that also is like, bro, sometimes you reach your level, right? And that's not necessarily unhealthy when you reach the unhealthy part of it is that there's not that day-to-day look, you know, hey, this is getting to me, mom. Can I talk to you about this and that? Where me and my wife, especially because of COVID, right? Like I joke all the time and people think this sounds crazy, but this really means a lot. Like me and my wife really got to learn each other and be like, you get on my fucking nerves, right? Like both me and my wife are able to say that. We live in a shotgun house. And for anybody that knows a shotgun house, that means it's like one way in, all the way straight to the back, right? So
And
you got,
I can't get by you unless I get by you.
I
So I
can't get,
gotta bump into you.
I gotta bump into you. So here, look, here we go. We got the front room, we got the living room, we got the baby's room, we got the bathroom, we got our room, then we got the kitchen. So even when you want to get some space, if she want to eat, she got to come by you, damn near walk over you, right? And so it wasn't until COVID where we're just like sitting here for 7-8 months, just her and I on top of each other, that we're just like, where we always try to be polite and like, I don't want to say this, like, nah, bro, you getting on my fucking nerves, man. Look, look, I'm gonna go in another room. Can you stay out of there for at least like 30 minutes so I got some space? And then after 30 minutes, we walk back in the room. Hey, babe, how you doing? I missed you.
Miss you too, honey.
Right.
Man.
I
And
love you, Raheem. But you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's not to say that like, obviously, if you don't got that kind of rapport, don't be talking to each other, like, but it's like, you have to get to a point where you comfortable to do the day-to-day, bruh, you agging me right now. Like when my wife, she yelled like a banshee mad about the toilet seat. Cool. I know she really pissed off. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to be like, okay, I'm either gonna stay out of her way or I'm gonna do something to make it better. But when you have the emotion and the feeling at that moment, you got to be able to say it at that moment and be like, dog, I'm irked right now. I'm pissed off. Like I just need some space. Like, don't mean I don't want to be with you, but just like go hang out in the kitchen for a little bit and leave me alone. Let me just sit here and watch Jersey Shore by myself.
yeah. And sometimes you want to regard the relationship so highly that you hold it, thinking that holding it will preserve the relationship. No, sometimes getting it out preserves it better than holding it, because holding it sometimes causes a bigger combustion, and those bigger combustions can cause bigger friction.
Well, you
And
also you learn where their pressure point is.
yeah,
Right? That you learn that, like, honestly, I think the more that you can be comfortable with somebody to like tell them where something is and not have to hold it in, or to be able to set a boundary without holding it in, it's better for you, instead of having to be at that point where you're just like, okay, my wife's pissing me off. I'm not gonna say nothing. I really want to say something, but I'm not gonna say nothing because I'm trying to be polite. Then all of
and
a
all
sudden,
you're doing
why the fuck are you here? Then you explode. And then now that causes the actual problem, because now you made somebody very uncomfortable because you done sat there and held this shit in so long that you explode. And now they don't know where your line is. You see what I'm saying? They don't know where your line is because you've been sitting here being uncomfortable for fucking 3 weeks, and then you explode on them and they're just like, oh, this motherfucker's volatile. I don't even know how to prevent this from happening because he held so much bullshit in for 3 weeks.
I always wonder how couples that don't like each other coexist, and it's like I swear, like I have a high regard of your relationship just because of just the diligence that y'all put it, you know, and I think what COVID has taught everybody is that if you're going to be with somebody, it requires that type of attention to detail. And because what happened, what regular life was in America was that we were distracted and busy enough so that we did not have to deal with each other's irks.
Nope.
Because we were distracted enough that we didn't have to be around them all the doggone time.
You going to work, you're working, okay, for us, right? It's working, picking up the kid from daycare, coming home. You got about 3 hours that you got to spend with that person between dinner. Now, dinner's a distraction because they got to feed the baby while I cook dinner. Okay, so now we got an hour that we have to spend with each other. You can't get sick of nobody in that hour.
Nah, you just yeah, and if you're sick of them, you just wait till they fall asleep, or you go to sleep first. That way you don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and I would say this, like, there's a degree of attention to detail, but I don't want to get. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the humility in me. I don't want to give it that much credit more than just like. Well,
all I know, Tony, is that I know I've seen stuff with the older people in my life, be it family and other relationships that I know, they don't do the work, and then they just fall apart. The things that kept them together in the beginning, all that fuzzy wuzzy stuff, like the stuff that keeps you together is arguments about the toilet seat, really. Yeah. If it really is. If you can survive an argument about a toilet seat, you can survive the big stuff. The big stuff and the small stuff all require the same energy, but you have to put forth it. You can't neglect it. And I think what COVID did is saw how much people were neglecting, and then I guess because they're so used to not having to deal with it, they just chose not to want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And it's very unfortunate. And shoot, before COVID, the divorce rate was already over 50%.
Oh yeah.
And now it's what, over 60 now?
Well, because think about it, you can't even escape, man. Like one of my big homies, man. My big homies, he I looked at him a lot for like my marriage advice and things like that. Like there was a time me and my wife were like really going through and we were talking about divorce and everything like that. And he rushed right over and like took me out and was like, let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. Cause there's gotta be something else that's the deciding factor here that's making you even think like this. And man, and like we joke all the time. We're like, a lot of people aren't gonna make it through this pandemic. And
a lot of people haven't.
They haven't.
It hasn't even been a whole year.
And you know what it was? Me and my wife struggled because we didn't get to see each other. Now we get to see each other. Now shit's like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like we good with all this. Like it was
you got a road.
Yeah, it was more like not seeing each other and living that rigmarole of that like everyday life. Like COVID, it was able to sit us down and be like, man, we can just be with the family and just like kick it. And you know what I mean? Like just do little shit as a family. Like where it's like today, so to tell you, on the way home, the baby threw up all in the like projectile vomited on the whole car in the back seat. Got car sickness or something, right? So we had to stop in fucking Lafayette.
There goes my baby.
Huh?
There goes my baby fever.
Man, that should have sober you up, bro. That should have sober you up. So we had to stop, clean it up and everything like that. And it was like, my wife was in the back hosing off the car seat. And I'm in the house making a chili, right? And then I walked past the door and my daughter was like, Dad. And she running through the yard. And I was like, okay, let me put my shoes on. Went out there and I'm just throwing the ball with her, and she running and I'm throwing the ball. My wife's cleaning up the car seat and we all throwing the ball together. And it's like, bro, that's the type of shit that like I always wanted. And I always like prayed for. And I'm not a prayerful person. Like I'm not even a very religious person at all. But that's like what I always wanted. And to be able to see that, like, I really just like have to soak that moment up. And it goes back to like what I'm saying is, like, in these situations, and even what you said with your mom is, you know, you got to just love yourself and each other very gently, because you got to know that your mistakes and shortcomings aren't because you're a stupid person or you're an inept person or you're a careless person. It's because you care too much.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you forget shit because you care too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with any relationship.
Everything is so important. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like
Gotta be gentle.
I've been online with you while you have customers, you're at work and you're still trying to participate in the group, and you got customers or clients. I see you literally paying attention to us and then going and but I've heard you talk to them. You care a lot, and I'm not, when I say care too much, I mean don't care less. I'm just saying is the reason why the shortcomings happen is because you're giving 110% to everything. And sometimes there's going to be shortcomings,
Yeah.
and we have to have our family to help put us in perspective without cutting us down. Right? Like
Yeah.
you need the love of your life or your mom or whoever it is to be able to say, all right, look, you dropped the ball here because you were doing too much here and you were giving less here. That don't mean you're inept. That don't mean you can't handle it. That means, look, figure out a way to balance it out.